Hi book loving kiddos, I'm Flora and this is Storytime with Flora. Today we'll be reading Emmeline Pankhurst by Elizabeth Kayser. Emmeline Pankhurst, written by Elizabeth Kayser, illustrated by Anna Stephanie Popo. Emily was born into a big family, in a nice house in Manchester, England. At the time she grew up, life was hard for many people. Her parents did whatever they could to help, and they often brought young Emmeline along. Emmeline learned to read when she was 3, and it became her favorite thing to do. She read the newspaper and book after book, drawn to stories of heroes who fought for others. She dreamt about who she might become. One night she heard her father say that it was too bad she wasn't a boy. She couldn't go to university or get a job or even vote like her brothers. Emmeline didn't understand why. She began to read about women's rights and begged her mother to bring her to a meeting so she could learn. There, Emmeline heard that a woman in England, like many other countries, were treated unfairly. They needed the right to vote in order to change things. Emmeline knew what she had to do. As soon as Emmeline finished school, she began working for women's rights. One of the leaders of the cause was a lawyer named Richard, who also believed that women should be equal to men. The two fell in love, working side by side to help women win the right to vote. Emmeline and Richard married and had a family. For many years they tried to get voting rights for women, but nothing changed. Sadly, Richard became sick and died, leaving Emmeline with 4 children, little money, and no rights as a woman. Emmeline had to work very hard to support her family, but she didn't stop supporting women's rights. Soon it was her daughters who begged Emmeline to take them to meetings. They asked why women had been following unfair rules for so long. This gave Emmeline an idea. Emmeline and her daughters became the leaders of a new group of women, a group that would stop following the rules and would fight for their rights. People called them suffragettes. They started by speaking out on street corners at fairs. They stood up to protest at big meetings. Some people laughed at them, but others began to listen. The government tried to stop them, so they fought hard. They marched into the streets. They broke windows, set fires, and chained themselves to railings. Even though some were hurt and others arrested, more and more women joined Emmeline's group. They were braver than anyone had imagined. In between spending many days in prison, Emmeline traveled to the US and spoke at big theaters. People gathered by the thousands to hear her. She told them she would keep fighting until every woman was free to do the same thing as men. Then a great war broke out and lots of men went off to fight. Emmeline encouraged suffragettes to take over jobs that only men had done before. They were stronger than anyone had believed. After the war, Emmeline's dream had came true. Women would finally get the right to vote. By fighting for others, Emmeline had done when no one thought a little girl could do. She became a quiz time! What was How many children did Emmeline have? This was Emmeline Pankhurst, Little People, Big Dreams. Hope you enjoyed this story and hope to see you in the next page.